But as you said, we have a new one. We are getting into Lightshade.
Who you shading?
Where are we throwing some shade?
Who you shading on? Gemini again?
Gemini.
Well, say that for the other player later on in this bracket, but we are now here on to Lightshade LE, the opposite of Nightshade LE. We're in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner map. We have the blue Protoss player coming out from the land of Jeju Island, although now residing in, I believe, Seoul. Be kind of weird if he resides in a different city. He is going to be representing Team Laopor. That's grandma. For why? The blue Protoss, we have Patience.
And spawning in at the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Korean Zerg player. Where does he bless the reins? Yaku.
Brazil.
In Brazil, of course. Because of that, he's also better known as Juanito's roommate. It is representing a Freak of Freaks, Armani. I had to wait for the second pile of notes to realize what you were doing.
Yeah. This is the reins.
Exactly. Does Armani, does he count as like a Latin American player now that he like lives with Juanito?
Yeah, probably. They had to have a little bit of exchange. I do believe that was part of Special's contract. He had to. They both had to have a little bit of the symbiosis, kind of like Venom. So now Armani is a Korean Latin player, and Special is a Latin American Korean player.
I like it. It's good. It's canon. It's why Special had to get the lawyers involved. You know, it was a process.
Exactly. You had to go up against Spider-Man there, son. I know where I was going with the Venom analogy.
Good. It's fine.
It's
fine.
like Armani wears Special.
What?
Special and then with the symbiote.
I'm sure. Look, there's fan art out there of Armani wearing Special as like a hoodie or something. I don't know.
I hope not.
It exists, I'm sure. But something that interesting that Patience is doing is that it looks like the positioning of this Stargate is so that he can try and hide it, right? It's like in a really awkward position that you wouldn't put, and it's possible that he can get away with it, right? Like the Overlord, it isn't heading in that direction.
Very likely. The Overlord actually just stopping right there outside of the comfort of the Patience? Hello? Oh. It's not on the tower light. Okay, it's moving forward.
Hey.
On its way. Let's go. Just had to be a little bit more patient there. And yeah, you were, I would say, completely right. Armani. Completely not going to be able to see that starport over there. Stargate.
Yeah, especially because Armani, he opted not to go for a faster Overlord speed, which is what some Zerg players like to go for, just so that they can be sure that they scout everything that they need to see. So
now he knows.
Yeah, now he knows.
And with that, Patience is going to be having a little bit of map control, at least for the time being. Armani just going to be sporing up. Well, I say sporing up, but so far just getting one. To be fair, a Void Ray isn't really going to do much across the map, but that's not really what Armani is worried about. He's worried about what's going to come after the Void Ray.
Exactly. As we all see, it is going to be an Oracle follow-up after said Void Ray. And we'll see if Armani has everything in position. He has a Spore in his main. He's getting a Spore at his third base. His natural is Sporeless, but ideally you have a couple of Queens that can get there in time to defend it. So we'll see if Patience can find some damage.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit more on Patience to be able to find the damage here. Armani, he's not the most solid defenses up, but he is elastically defending himself. I mean, he's got the creep spread up. Very nice positioning there with Spore. Taking a very proactive defense against the Oracle there. And with that, Patience gonna have to back away, wait for these glaives to finish.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about it. He started off with a Stargate opener into Glaive Adepts, and I mean the goal of this of the Void Ray first is to deny any scouting, so this surprises his opponent. But Armani, he did get Overlord speed. He's going in for a second scout, but he misses
He
the
still
tech.
dodges it. And look, I mean, we say that Patience is a genius. Well, sometimes we say that. But I do think that Patience, you know, he did kind of study these maps. He did decide, okay, this is where it's unlikely that my Zerg opponent is going to scout my buildings. And even once again, gonna get completely denied. Armani does not see the Twilight Council. I do feel like as a Zerg player, you should sort of be suspecting that it's out by now, right? Like,
yeah, well, you suspect something, right? Like you go in, you scout, and you barely see anything. It's like, hold on, like there should be a Twilight Council.
But then again, you play against Patience. You kind of know that you kind of never know what's coming out for you. So Armani, you know, he's not relying on anything. He's not relying on anything other than his eyes, pretty much.
Exactly, and the Adepts are here, the War Prism as well, and there's not too many links here to chase the Shade, so it looks like he's gonna have to retreat and evacuate everything from this third base.
Exactly, links already aren't favored, but if you can get enough of them, they should be enough to overwhelm the Adepts. Without any amount of them out right now for Armani, it is not looking good. May have gotten a little bit greedy too with the droning, as this is not really enough roaches either to provide much of anything.
Yeah, exactly.
One-shotting them.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was intentional or not, but Patience, he was baiting so hard with that War Prism, it almost went down, but it just didn't. So Patience is able to continue to apply pressure here. Shades into the natural, and there's nothing here.
No, there is not. A couple of units just get sniped just like so, and even more drones are starting to go down. Another Shade will be completing up here in the main base. And this is not only a lot of lost drones, this is also a lot of lost mining time. Armani, he's fallen into the trap that a lot of Zerg players do against this build, which is, you know, just going back and forth and never mining.
Exactly, and something that's so important is that somehow, someway, Patience actually kept his War Prism alive. Look how close it was to going down. It was getting chased by the Queens the entire time, and it just survived, and that meant that the Queens weren't at home to defend.
Literally one more hit. 21 drones went down with that assault, 2 Queens as well. Like, on top of that, Patience, he went for a relatively quick third base as well behind this. So, economically, he's just looking fantastic if he can keep up the pro production.
Exactly. Yeah, like at the moment, both players are on equal workers. That's always more beneficial for the Protoss player. Behind this as well, like Patience, he was teching up. Like we've got Colossus on the way, we've got upgrades, Blink, everything is in production for Patience. And yeah, he's working on his pretty solid army. So Armani, he can't really do anything to Patience from here.
I almost feel like that was intentional for Patience over there. I don't think he's aware that Hydra Den is coming out, but, you know, he's probably thinking, okay, this Warp Prism, I've tilted him. This Warp Prism should be dead, but I've tilted Armani. He wants to kill it, so he's going to get the Hydras out. And you know what? He's going to get Hydras. Charge slots, and also Colossus.
A lot, like Disruptors, Colossus, Storm, but it doesn't have Storm quite yet. I feel like that's definitely something that Patience is missing. But, yo, he's ready to just cut off the army and kill the hatchery.
Indeed, he is. Even more economic damage is going to be happening right now. Patience really just aiming to starve out Armani slowly. Well, I say slowly, but this is Patience we're talking about.
Yeah, like he kills the hatchery, he shades into the natural at the same time, getting more worker kills. He will get cleaned up. At the same time, there were a bunch of Lings that actually snuck into the base of Patience.
But attacking anything other than this geyser light.
Exactly, nothing was killed.
Nothing at all was killed. Colossus now out, and Patience, he's just content to go back home, build up the army, get ready for round 2.
Exactly. Like that fight as well, that was without the Colossus, I believe. Like they were busy at home. So, I mean, and external thermal lance is on the way as well. So Patience, like that wasn't even his final form. He's still working on his army, and Armani, he's still just struggling to get a 4th.
Indeed he is. He is starting to move into the Lurker Den though, which can definitely help with the defense, but Patience not looking to let him get there. Very scary army going towards the side of the Zerg player.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll see if Patience can manage to force his way through. Again, it does feel like his army is lacking something like charge lots or something else to help buffer. And Armani, he's just trying to buy as much time as he can until the lurkers come out.
Exactly, and honestly, at this point, like, I wouldn't be going into charge lots if I was Patience. Sorry, seeing the lurker done come out.
Yeah. And there we go, the lurkers, they're morphing in, so Armani, he was just able to make enough Hydras to turn into the minimal amount of lurkers that he needs, and defensively, like, he now has a chance now with some lurkers added into his army. And Patience, he's struggling to, he's, you know, taking his time really to try and push in.
Yeah, well, he is struggling to kind of move in here. I do love how active Armani is being on the map right now, really making use of the open spaces that Light Shape provides, and I kind of feel like that's his best bet, but a little bit of miscalculation here when it came to the surround.
Oh yeah, he's trying to get the surround and he gets the disruptors.
Yeah, that he does, and the lurkers burrow right on top of his army. And I don't believe there's any detection out at for Patience. There goes a revelation, though, from that Oracle. Not going to be enough, though. Patience just picked the absolute worst place to fight.
Oh my god, that absolutely was. He was in the middle of nowhere. He got basically 360 surrounded. The lurkers, they were undetected for like half of that fight as well. And Armani just took the perfect engagement, just what he needed to hold on here.
He definitely did, and even going for the counterattack right now, you know, Patience, he doesn't quite have the production, he doesn't quite have the resources to really make Remax as quickly as Armani can. He is being active though, eating a couple of vials, blinked a little too soon earlier there. The Warp Prism finally goes down Light, and the Colossus with it. And with that, I feel like Armani has completely turned his game on its head, reeling around buys as well, just taking everything out, causing as much chaos as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Patience, he's just lost so many robot units. He's struggling to remake them because at the moment he only has one Colossus to fortify this army, and he lost his War Prism earlier. He can't afford to remake it right now.
Vials have been absolutely fantastic so far from the side of Armani. Just making sure he can zone out as much of his army as possible. No detection once again for our blue Protoss player. So the lurker, okay, does have to remove what? Back away. Actually, Patience removed it. That's what I meant.
That's what happened. Armani, he backs off to regroup with his main army, and to be fair, the supplies are still fairly similar. But again, I do favor like the amount of lurkers here with this army, and Vipers are on the way as well for Armani.
That it definitely is. Once his adaptive talents finishes up, I do feel like Armani will have just about an unstoppable army when it comes to, in terms of defense anyway. Offensively, I'm not as sure. This could be a pretty good pick off right now for Patience, but he does not want to go too deep into Zerg creep.
Oh, exactly, and Patience, he just happened to have a Colossus defensively as well, so the Ling run by did nothing. So Patience, he was able to deny the base to the top right, which was quite nice. He has to be careful not to be caught out. It's so scary being active here without a Warp Prism, like a wrong move and you just lose the Colossus. Yeah,
and I think is how Armani is going to be looking at his matchup anyway, or at least looking at this particular map. How can I, catch Patience off guard? How can I make use of the wide open spaces, get the angles that this map provides me?
Yeah, exactly. But, Patience, he's been able to slow things down. Like, Armani, he doesn't feel confident enough to push out, and Patience, like, he's just making sure that happens because Patience himself is still working on his army. We finally have charge lots on the way. We have Templar Archives on the way as well, so we can finally have some Storm or some Archons. It's just going to take a little bit. It's going to take a while for Patience to finally, like, refine his army.
Definitely is, which is why he's trying to buy as much time as possible, deny whatever upgrades he can. He has to be so careful with these Vipers, full of energy. He does not want to get the Colossus picked off.
Yeah,
Martin also doesn't want to get those Vipers sniped.
Yeah, it's this dance, if you will, between the two players where Armani's trying to yoink the Colossus, but Patience is trying to protect it and also snipe the Vipers as well. But we do see Armani, he has his army split up into two, and he's trying to find a position here.
That he is. And he is starting to move into this. Stasis Ward does trap a good number of Zerglings, and the important thing is that that's going to be the main buffer for Armani in this particular fight. Really good snipes over here. The Vipers do all go down. And Patience, he does still need to be a little careful here. Could get surrounded. But he backs away. He knows that he already got value done. Look at that army count lead right now, Light. But the army of Patience is completely split. I love the harassment getting done, though. Patience getting picked apart right here.
Yeah, exactly like Armani. Like, oh my god, so many lurkers were caught out. There were lurkers caught out to the north, to the south as well. All those, the Viper count was reset, and just Patience. He's just finding a way to pull Armani apart.
Slowly but surely, and this could just about be the final blow. Nope, the lurkers burrow in too quickly. Very good reveal over there, just in case the observer gets sniped. And really good kiting as well. I feel like Armani is losing much more army than he really needs to.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Something that was pretty amazing is that I don't know if you saw the observer actually got biled down just then. So the observer went down. So he's just, yeah, Patience, he's just relying on his revelations at the moment. Really nice run by, but Patience, you have to be careful not to get too overzealous here.
Yeah, and I think that is something that you can't rely on too quickly. Nice little yoink here. Does eventually get a Colossus as well as an Immortal, as well as an Archon, as well as another Immortal. And with that, we are back to about about 7 minutes ago, Light, where Patience, he was doing so well, but got a little bit caught out. And Armani now going straight off of the counterattack, twice the army supply.
Yeah,
May just be able to end this, but he is playing patient.
We always talk about this. Patience, despite his name, he does not have a lot of patience. He like finds an opportunity and he just keeps going until he dies, or until someone dies, I should say.
That's why I love him.
He's great.
That's why he's now my favorite Protoss player.
Oh my god, and we got to see, even though the Vipers got sniped earlier, like when Armani is on top of it, like the yoinks are so on point, he was able to get so much value. Right now, Patience, all that he has really is these Stalkers to try and hold on, and there are just so many lurkers.
That there very much are. Even with the Void Rays, I don't think he's going to be able to get too much done there. Nice surround with the Lings and the Hydras as well. And after all these Stalkers go down, I cannot imagine Patience is much more of a chance. GG is called. Armani taking game number 1. This is why I like casting Patience. Or watching him in general.
This is why I love casting the both of these guys, man. Like that. That was great. Patience, like, again, even though he went down in that game, like there was so many moments of brilliance for Patience, you know, like he was able to like catch out a bunch of lurkers, catch out the Vipers, constantly harass with adepts, with zealots. He just needs to calm down a little bit.
Yeah, he needs to live up to his name a little there. And, you know, just be content with taking out a base or two, getting some damage done, and then back on off. I see Starduck in the chat over now. I thought Patience threw this. He did. And then he threw again.
Oh my god, I love this. We've actually, you know, referenced or compared Patience to this player before. Starduck, he's saying he's like the Korean Miyamika. In a lot of ways, I think he is. I feel like it's hard to like compare yourself to Miyamika because he's like the pinnacle, the peak of like craziness, and like big brain.
Well, I mean, he has been called in the past, the Miyamika that is, the Vietnamese Haas. So I don't know where this keeps going, Light.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're gonna have the American Patience, and then the German, whoever that American Protoss player will be. Probably no, Printf isn't really the same.
For America, yeah, I don't really know. Probably
Paco Mike can be the what's it called? Latin American. What's his name? Patience.
Yeah, I think that
we'll have like the German Paco Mike.
I would say for Latin America, it would have to be Turkey Dano. I'll be real here. It's he's far more insane than Paco Mike, in a different way, but yeah, it's great to see. And here we go, we're all getting set up. We have a couple of other casters joining us for game number 2. We have Belair casting in German and Legend K casting in French, and we are going to be getting into game number 2.
Yeah, we will, and it will not be that fourth new map that we wanted to see. Light. It will instead be Jagannatha, otherwise known as Jacintha.
Yeah, Jagannatha.
Yeah, gigantic.
Jagannatha.
We are now going to be loading in onto Jagannatha, otherwise known as Jacintha, otherwise known as Gigantic. LE, LE of course standing for Left Everywhere, Left Everywhere. That's the name of a Sleeping with Siren song. Here over here in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner map, we have the blue Protoss player coming down originally from Jeju Island, but now I do believe from Seoul in South Korea. He is going to be representing Team Laopor, Team LP. That translates to grandma, if I'm not mistaken. We have the player who could live up to his name. Oh, not living up to his name. We have Patience.
Oh. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the South Korean Protoss Zerg player. He's currently getting cannon rush because Patience went for that forge first. We have representing Afrika Freaks. It is Armani.
I love to see us, even the speed zones. Patience, he's going faster and faster.
Oh my god. Okay, so this is, I have not seen a cannon rush in the new maps. Like, I don't know which map it's like preferred upon. I don't know like the ideal positionings. I don't know if Patience even knows. He may just be just throwing this out there just because.
I would not be surprised. This is Patience we're talking about. Armani hasn't seen it yet, but with this drone, there we have it. He is fully aware of what is coming down his way. And Patience is committed to this. He's bringing in a second probe to help him out. And right now, what does Armani do? Okay, cancels that hatchery. That's a good start. But his spawning pool is still a little ways off, Light.
Exactly. We'll see how committed Patience is to this. We'll see if he tries to cannon rush the other hatchery at the third base location, or if he continues to commit here. We'll see if he throws down a proxy gateway or a proxy robo, or if it's just cannons.
Yeah, that we definitely will. Another cannon starting to be thrown down right now, and I mean, this is not looking too good, but I do like that Armani has taken that third base location as second base. We'll be able to at least get some kind of mining of some kind of production out. We have seen this in the past with Zerg players, where if they're able to, they will just take another base somewhere else in the map so that at least they have a chance of this game. Armani miscalculating a little bit there, but does at least weaken up this cannon so that there's less for the Spinecrawler to really deal with. And with that, I think Armani is going to be just about able to hold. Will not lose the Spinecrawler.
Ooh, saves it just in time. The second Spinecrawler finishes up as well, and it looks like Armani is going to be able to clean all of this up. Oh, wow.
Yeah, didn't really deal with the high ground vision in time. So Armani will have to be a little bit more methodical with this. Take out the high ground pylon first, and then deal with the cannons on low ground. And meanwhile, Armani, I would say, has dealt with this just about as well as he can. Patience, gonna be transitioning out.
Yeah, and we can see the massive worker advantage that Patience has. He has 31 workers to the 18 of Armani. So Patience, he has that economic lead. We'll see if he's able to hold on to it. We'll see if Armani is going to transition to something a little bit more cheeky, something a little bit more aggressive to try and get back into this.
I don't think he has to, honestly. Like, I mean, it's always available for him, but I don't think he really has to at the moment. Once that, once this pylon gets taken out, he can go for a third base. And if I was Armani, I would maybe go for just really be greedy. But then again, that's why Armani is a pro gamer who is in the round of 8 in GSL, and why I'm just sitting here in my room.
Yeah, we'll see what Armani's plan is from here. Like, there's a lot of different avenues that you can go for as a Zerg player. Like, you can go for like a faster lair into mutas. Of course, you can go like your stock standard into a Hydra Lurker. You can go Roach Ravager first. To be fair, a lot of this kind of depends on what Armani's able to scout across the map. And so far, he hasn't seen anything. There was no Overlord whatsoever in position.
Exactly. Patience has 100 control of the ball right now. It is going to be on Armani to see how he can sort of trip him up.
Yeah, and as we do see... as we do see, Patience, like he did, fully stack trade on 2 bases. He's not going for a Stargate. Instead, he is going for that Twilight Council and Robo.
Okay, I quite like it. We will probably be seeing a little bit more of an old school Stalker Sentry Immortal push. Don't really want to call it a Soul Train because, that's kind of trademarked, but Yeah, a little bit more of a gateway focus army coming out from Patience. I spoke a little too soon, as that is going to be the Dark Shrine coming out. Still
Yeah.
a gateway unit, but you know.
Exactly. That's why it's so dangerous as a Zerg player, because Armani, he got in with a Ling, he scouted the Twilight Council on the Robo, and that's all he saw. Like, he has no idea about this DT follow-up. So DTs could honestly, like, do a lot of damage.
It could do so much right now. I mean, if you're Armani, you see that your opponent is going for the Twilight and the Robo. You don't necessarily suspect that Dark Shrine is coming out. That may be different in the coming weeks, as I do feel like Dark Shrine in PvZ is going to be, or just has become much more common lately. But at the moment, we're still in that weird middle ground where you're sort of seeing that you're not really going to be expecting it so much.
Exactly, because the War Prism is already heading across the map. The Dark Shrine will finish by the time the War Prism gets to Armani's bases, and so far there are no spores. There is a lair, so there is an opportunity to make an Overseer, but that's all the detection he's gonna have.
Yeah, and I mean, does he have Numenite's Carapace, though, which is going to be, I think, the major question? No, he does not. Do see an Overseer being morphed back at home, so Armani should be fine. But Patience decides to snipe off a tech building here or there. You know, these DTs can do quite a bit of damage. Picking Armani apart right now, going for that multi-prong, and as you were saying, like, only one Overseer for the detection. Patience has revealed his hand, but is it too late right now?
Yeah, we'll see 5 drones go down, and it looks like the DTs are trying to get over to the third base. Still no detection there. The lone Overseer is trying to get there. Oh, but it's going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, well, is it really going in the wrong direction if Patience is going into every direction? There is another Overseer over here by the third base, and with that, Armani going to be able to hold once again. And look at that army supply difference, like Armani. I hope he realizes this. I hope he realizes he can just march across the map right now and do a heck of a lot of damage, potentially even win this game.
Exactly, like that's the purpose of these DTs, to try and keep Armani busy, because yeah, as you were saying, Armani has a massive army. Patience slipping up a little bit because he did invest in a lot. He invested a lot of resources to make those DTs happen, and he's taking a third, but there's nothing really here to defend it.
There's a Zealot.
It's true, there's a Zealot.
Yeah, you know, Zealots are pretty good. Oh, but it doesn't have charge, so I changed my mind.
Oh my god,
all right,
Immortal.
Immortal is going to have to try to weather this. A second Immortal on the way, but I do not see the War Prism light. I do not see a way for Patience to really going to be able to micro against this. These Stalkers do come out, and that is going to be the main difference right now.
Yeah, and I mean, Armani, he didn't pull the trigger, he was just harassing with Ling, so Patience is able to, you know, create a decent army. Again, with the amount of Immortals he has, that's ideal against the Roach Ravager that Armani is going for. But, ooh, Armani, he's not just going for Roach Ravager, he is going for some drops as well.
Ooh, Baneliness is about to be complete, and I mean, he's already pretty far ahead in the worker count. This is just Armani saying, I want to be even more ahead before I clutch out this victory.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see, because it looks like the you know, we're gonna miss each other. Like Patience, he's already pushing out across to the other side of the map. We do have the drop that's headed towards the main base as well. And does Armani have enough here to hold?
I feel like he's got more than enough right now. Like, he does have the Roach Ravager. He does have the... Okay, this is a bit of a choke point, so it may be a little difficult for Armani to get us around the Lings and to get the concave that he so desires, but... The Lings are about to go into the main base over there. The Biles will not quite land. Oh, they actually do on a couple of these Stalkers towards the end. Do love the patrolling Zealots Zerglings over there. Armani just covering all of his bases right now. Just really thinking, how can Patience come back in this game? But this is something you didn't really account for. This is a lot of Stalkers that blink right on forward.
Exactly.
And Armani's gonna have to reevaluate.
Yeah, and all the Roach Ravagers is going to be cleaned up. Sure, there are Lings, but they can't really get decent surface area here, so the army of Patience is looking to be overwhelming here.
Yeah, his own hatchery kind of killing him, ironically. And that base will get taken out. Yeah. The Lings over on the other side of the map.
They got cleaned up.
Too much, they do get cleaned up. And our Patience is back in this game.
Oh, that he is. I mean, there are just a decent amount of Ling, stack defense, and queens here for Armani, so he's trying his best to hold on. But with the War Prism, like, it looks like Patience may have too much. So far, he saves all of his Immortals.
Well, it is a very tense battle right now, Light. It is about keeping the key units alive right now for Patience. and for Armani to just be able to hold off enough to get reinforcements.
Yeah, and the Immortal waddled across the map, so now we have a third Immortal here for Patience. He doesn't have any more Zealots, so he needs to, you know, reinforce and try and get that buffer, and I feel like he only just now realized that Charge hadn't even started, it's only just now starting it.
Yeah, I feel like he only now realized that he does need something other than these Stalkers and these Sentries to be helping out these Immortals. So with that, Patience is going to be forced to back away and get ready for round 2. Immortal does go down. Nicely done by our Red Zerg player. And with that, the game is going to slow down.
Yeah, exactly. Like, again, Patience, he had a lot of momentum going for him, but in the end, he just didn't have enough to close it out, realizing that he was missing a couple of upgrades to really, you know, break the Zerg player. And Armani, he holds. He took a lot of damage. To be fair, both players did, but yeah, we're just kind of slowing things down.
Slow. And with that, it's, yeah, just both players going to be getting their tech in order. Patience does kind of know that he's at a bit of a disadvantage. You know, his third base was delayed for so long. He knows that he needs to get some kind of damage down on the other side of the map, but what can he really do at the moment with what he's got?
Yeah, exactly. As I mean, so far, Patience, he's, you know, harassing with a couple of DTs, again, dealing some damage here and there. Meanwhile, Armani, he's also getting ready for some Bane drops over on the left-hand side of the map. We'll see how good Patience reaction time will be.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Especially considering how active he's being on the map with this army. I feel like his attention is not at his bases at the moment.
Yeah, he was just pulled to his main because it was a lane drop that did just get cleaned up from Patience, so maybe he's feeling a little bit of relief, like, oh, okay, I dealt with the drop, okay, I can focus on my macro, I can focus on the center of the map with my main army.
Yeah, little as you know, Drop Lord is hanging back.
He's waiting for the moment.
Like so. Patience forced all the way back across the map, and Armani now deciding to go straight on for it. Patience trying to be a little bit distracting over here with these Zealots. And he's doing a pretty good job of just keeping Armani's army all the way back home.
Yeah, and you know, they're both kind of poking and prodding here. I mean, I'm sure you as well as I will. We've got our eyes like on the minimap waiting for the moment where the Overlord like decides to move in. It's just kind of been chilling there for a while, so yeah, hopefully we don't miss it, because Armani's just kind of chilling with it at the moment.
Yeah, just really setting up that multi-prong, really just trying to say, okay, I want to engage you on maybe a natural basis, something like that, and then go in and punish it. The Overlord is going in, like the Drop Lord is going in. There is the cannon, but how much can a cannon really do? That is an entire mineral line with another Baneling to spare. Colossus is going to be enough to chase Armani's main army back.
Wow.
But here comes the last Baneling line. Here comes the last Baneling. All right, gets another 2 probes over there. And with that, just look at how far behind Patience is economically. It is 36 versus 75 workers. Armani, he just has to hold the all-in, or the impending all-in.
Exactly, like 22 probes just went down, and Armani, he was just posturing with the main army, distracting Patience while he went for that massive backstab. And now Armani, as you were saying, he just needs to hold and he's golden. Like, he's going to just run away with this game. Patience, he's all in right now. He needs to try to end the game with what he has.
Start making plays.
Yeah. Oh god.
The Golden, favorite Korean player who lives in Canada. Anyway, nice open run by here. Just once again, really keeping Patience distracted. And you got to feel for Patience a little bit right now. If you're him, he's got to be feeling thrown off his game, right? A little bit.
Maybe this is his game. Maybe he's like, it's okay. I do this. This happens all the time.
This is where he thrives. Let's be real. All right. Lurkers are in a pretty good defensive position over here, but they are kind of lined up perfect for the Colossus to take advantage of them.
Yeah, like Patience, he's been trying to find an opportunity, trying to find an angle of attack for the past couple of minutes, and he just hasn't been able to. He just hasn't been able to push in.
Okay, not quite a lot of Banelings anymore. Will be forced to get cancelled, and again, that run by gets cleaned up, but Armani, he's in the position where he can afford to just throw away links like that, and throw away baits like this. I mean, I feel like we say it a lot, like, that you can't be throwing away Banes too much, because eventually that gas count will stack up, but if you're Armani right now, I feel like it's fine.
Oh my god, the Colossus get caught out.
They do get caught out. There's some really good force fields, so the corrosive battles weren't going to be enough. And yeah, all these Colossus towards the south here are preoccupied with the Queens. And with that, two Colossus, is it what? Two Colossus is what? One Colossus goes down. And Patience's army is just a lot weaker than it used to be.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's just down to like half the armor supply it once was. You know, we can see Armani, he's maxed out, and really he can just throw away his army, remax, rebuild as 20 more probes go down to another massive Bane run by.
And with that, Patience doesn't even bother playing that out. GG is called. And Armani gonna be advancing to the next round. I believe the quarterfinals. Forgive me if I'm mistaken. Yep, the quarterfinals to face another Protoss player in Trap.
Yeah, we predicted it. I mean, Trap was up against James, who is another Korean Terran player. We've casted him before, but again, he is very much so an amateur compared to Trap, literally one of the best Protosses in the world. And yeah, that's going to be the next Protoss that Armani is going to have to go up against.